Hey there, I am back with another deck review, and today we're going to be looking at Incubo from Thirdway Industries. Of all the things you choose in life, you don't get to pick your nightmares. You don't choose them, they choose you. Novelist John Irving wrote these words about the nature of our darkest dreams. And as a way of processing and even exercising his own inner demons, designer Giovanni Moroni gives us his latest deck, Incubo. It's a journey into the land of sleep where our nightmares can help reveal truths about ourselves that are sometimes the very hardest to confront. It's a unique theme and one that was clearly pretty personal for Gio. And from the very first glances I got at this deck concept months ago, I've been really excited to get hold of it. So let's check it out. All right, it comes in 3 different versions. So the name Incubo means nightmare in Italian. And then you have the Mezzanotte version. This is midnight in Italian. And then you also have the gilded Mondo version. Mondo translates to world devourer, so it kind of takes on a darker theme. There's also an overrun deck. It has the same cards as Mezzanotte, but in a kind of more standard tuck. This one's called Luna Piena, which translates to full moon. So we'll get a chance to look at all the decks, but let's start off with the standard deck from the campaign, Mezzanotte. All right, so it comes in a tuck box that was made by Bashero and Newton. Bashero and Newton do some of the best tuck boxes in the world, in my opinion, and they did a really nice job with some interesting techniques on this one. It's done on a black matte cardstock, and the pigment here is actually double applied, so multiple layers of pigment to give an even richer color. And you can see how deep that yellow color comes out against the black. Really gives a nice contrast to this one, and the nice embossing on it gives it a really good feel as well. Beautiful look to it, and if you look up close, you can see just how deep that yellow is. Has a matte finish, so it's not like a foil, but it really just has a unique texture to it overall. The design on here, very classic Thirdway. You get the iconography all over the place. You get this radial pattern in the center with one of the nightmare characters featured in the middle, the design here, wearing that white mask. And then lots of random chaotic symbols. You get the pip floating in there, crowns, lightning bolts, stars, and then even the phases of the moon here underneath the name of the deck, Incubo. Beautiful look to it overall. Like I said, I really love how the colors turned out on this one. You get Incubo on the side, along with the 2 masks. Those masks are going to be kind of a recurring theme through the deck. The masks represent the dual nature of nightmares. So there's the images you see on the face, but then under the covers, there's some sort of deeper meaning usually. I think the same thing on the other side. Your ad copy on the bottom, it mentions Bashero and Newton, who made the tuck boxes, as well as the cards being made in USA by USPCC. And then the top has the phases of the moon, a bit of a departure for Thirdway. Usually he just puts the 4 pips on there, but this one has the phases of the moon, which I like. And then the back has an embossed version of the back design of the cards. We'll look more at that in a second, but you'll see the first appearance of another one of the symbols from the deck, the caged raven here. So the raven represents some of our darker thoughts that we keep locked away until we enter the land of sleep. So you can see the raven there in the cage with the key in its beak. But anyways, you open it up, more of those radial patterns, almost like a setting sun here on the inner flap, and then the moon and the key symbolizing your entry into the land of sleep. You also get a really nice interior printing on this one. Beautiful kind of clear or black foil. The black on black gives it a kind of a mysterious look, and you can see that same masked character from the front of the tuck box make an appearance there as well. But nice extra touch on the interior of the box. Finishing out what is, I think, just a really nicely done tuck box. Kudos to Bashero and Newton for the execution on that one. Now we get to the cards, and we start with the back design. That bright yellow hit, obviously going to be the first thing that you notice on this one. The black and yellow is a really just stark and striking color combination on this one, and features, again, some more of that classic line work. Nice, bold, thick lines on this one. And of course, featuring the radial pattern with that caged raven, again, kind of symbolizing our darker waking thoughts locked away until we fall asleep. Beautiful look to it, and then a kind of chaotic assortment of iconography all around it, kind of representing the chaos of the land of nightmares. Beautiful look to it, and I love the yellow borders on these. Really just kind of gives it that extra pop of color that brings these to life. So there's your back design. And then the cards themselves, the faces feature tons of color as well. In addition to the yellow, bringing in lots of reds as well on these. So the 4 aces are kind of a tribute to the masks that I mentioned as a theme. So again, the dual nature of nightmares, the surface image of what you see, but then the hidden meaning that lurks beneath. And nice colored backgrounds on the cards as well. So you'll see the spades done with a red background, diamonds and clubs have the yellow background, and then the hearts have the night sky with the black background. Beautiful, bold colors on these definitely stand out really nicely. Power ace is the ace of spades there with the name of the deck, Incubo, and the phases of the moon, the lightning bolts underneath, and then that large spade pip with the skeletal mask in the center. Beautiful look to it. Nice, easy to read pip and index in the corner as well. The diamonds feature that wolf, kind of a wolf or a dog mask there. And the clubs, this is probably the creepiest of the masks to me, that oval mask with just the shocked face and the hollow eyes on it. And then finally, the ace of hearts with another skeletal mask. Love the double-ended sword stabbed through the heart there. So really nice aces, and again, kind of a tribute to the masks. And then we get into the number cards, and they feature those same colored backgrounds, beautiful, bright, bold red with the yellow accents on it, and then the black pips on top for the spades. And then as you get into the clubs, we now go to the yellow background. Similar design work on these. I like the yellow and the red. Really good combo on the diamonds there. And then the clubs keep with the yellow background, but now have the black pips. So the pips are classic black and red, but the backgrounds are kind of chaotic between them. And then finally are the hearts with that black background, or the black and yellow. So kind of looking like the night sky. You can see the stars twinkling in the sky around the heart pips. So very nice custom pips on these. But the real highlight of this deck, and honestly, most Thirdway Industries decks, comes in the quartz. But these do something that even for Thirdway Industries really stands out, and it's the one-way quartz. I love a good one-way quartz just because it gives so much more real estate when you're not trying to reflect the character on both sides. You're able to expand on the artwork, expand on the lore that's told within them. And for Thirdway Industries, I think is just a great fit. So for me, the little bit of a reduction in usability of the deck more than made up for with those beautiful full image quartz. And each one of these represents a different nightmare that you might encounter within the Land of Sleep. So not a very specific story that's tied to these, but there are kind of backgrounds of each one of the characters that you might encounter. And they're all just beautifully illustrated. The bright backgrounds, the bold colors, definitely an art style that's reminiscent of decks like the Order or Galaxia, some of his other decks. Just really nice pop to it and beautiful imagery. By the way, as I go through this, I'll talk a little bit about who some of the characters are, but if you want to find out more about the characters, highly recommend you pick up the companion booklet that goes with it, the Black Book of Nightmares. Not sure if you can see it on here, but it's done with a rainbow foiling against a black matte cover. Beautiful booklet that as you flip through it, kind of tells you stories about all the different characters that we'll get a chance to see as we go through the deck. So definitely recommend picking that up if you want to learn more about the lore. Booklets, by the way, also printed by Bashiro and Newton, so beautiful quality on the booklets as well. But anyway, back to the quartz, and we'll start off with the jacks here and the Jack of Spades. This is a genie, so the genie who grants wishes, but at a cost, and you can see the spade pip stabbing him in the heart there and the dripping blood. The tiny spade pip representing the genie coming out of the lamp there. Really cool look to it. Love the classic earring there and everything. And then next is the Jack of Diamonds. This is the demon of hunger who feasts on everything in sight, whether it be food, drink, or even human souls. Beautiful kind of obese demon there with the almost wicked grin on his face. Next is the Jack of Clubs. This is, to me, one of the most striking of the cards. This is the Angel of Justice. You can see the wings there, but this particular angel is bound by the chains of light around its arms. Really cool look to it. Love the triangular mask, the sword in the center. Just a really nice look with that yellow background. And then the last of the hearts, or of the jacks, is the Jack of Hearts, the Lord of Chaos. Seeking to destroy everything in its path. You can see that muscular demon shape and even the eyes lurking in the shadows. Very cool and ominous look to this one, and a great pairing of that red body with the black background. The queens in this deck are particularly racy, even for Giovanni standards, but beautifully illustrated. And it starts off with the Queen of Spades here, the warrior queen, the sword in hand, And you can see fighting this monster in the background. And as the lore of this particular dream goes, the monster is actually secretly in love with the warrior queen. And so you can see him there crying a tear as he goes to battle with the queen. But a beautiful look, the tentacles rising in the background, the red sun, just a really beautiful card. And then another one of the queens, the Queen of Diamonds. This is the noble queen with her guardian dog or wolf over here, defending her against all greed. And you can see him with a slash on his body, representing the kind of scars of his battle. Next is the Queen of Clubs. This is probably the most poignant of the cards for me. This is the Queen of Death, someone who causes anger, not just for the ever-present threat that she represents to us, but also just sort of anger for what or who she might have taken from us. This is one that I think we can all relate to. Obviously, death is something that we fear, whether it's in ourselves or in those close to us. And so Lady Death here with a skull and the almost serene look of inevitability on her face, just definitely one of the more powerful cards. And finally, among the queens is the Queen of Hearts. This is the voluptuous demon who tempts men. You can see the locked cages making an appearance in the background as well. Love the combination of the red and black. And then we go to the kings, the most powerful of the cards, starting with the King of Spades, the Lord of Terror. And you can see this particular one. Remember, the ravens represent the darkest thoughts that we have. Well, here the ravens have broken out of the cage and are seated at the side of the Lord of Terror, the Father of Nightmares. And next up is the King of Diamonds, the philosopher who holds the very secrets that can maybe help end our nightmare, but of course, locked away behind the locked door right there in his hands. Beautiful look. I love the animal mask that this one's wearing in the yellow background. Just looks really nice. Next up is the King of Clubs, another animal mask. This is the Lord of the Wild, a hunter who hunts under the moonlight. You can see the wolf form there, riddled with arrows, and then the one bloody hand dripping blood from it. And finally is the King of Hearts, the King of Pain. Pain personified, completely stricken with cuts and bruises all over. You can see the slashes all over the cloak as he almost screams out in pain. Another really striking card. And then 4 more characters on the Jokers. Usually the Jokers are some of the best cards in the deck. I actually kind of prefer the Courts just for the big splashes of color. These are a little bit smaller illustrations, but do feature 4 more different warriors or travelers in the land of sleep, including the masked wanderer that you see here, a warrior who fights his way through the land of sleep. And then you have Lady Fox, the clever wanderer, who's the symbol of the sort of bizarre and illogical dreams that we maybe have. So you get this, really disturbing looking fox-faced lady, the cat with the key, just kind of a really illogical, crazy looking dream there. Next up is the Shadow, the creator of nightmares. You can see again the cage and the raven broken out there as the Shadow brings some of the darkest dreams to life. And then finally, the Queen of the Moon, the weaver of dreams herself. You can see her there under the moon, the ravens at her side as well. So those are the 4 Jokers and the 12 Courts that make up the Mezzanotte version of the deck. Beautiful look to it overall. Nice cards printed by USPCC, but that is just one version of the deck. We also have the gilded version of the deck to take a look at with Devora Mondo. And a Devora Mondo in Italian translates to World Devourer, so this one definitely takes on a bit of a darker theme, and right away you get that with the tuck box. This one isn't done with that pigmenting technique, instead done with classic foil. You get that nice shiny red foil against the black. There is some embossing on this, but it's really slight, so much deeper embossing on the Mezzanotte version of the deck compared to Devora Mondo, but beautiful black on red, just a classic combination. Lots of Thirdway decks in particular use that combination. And you'll see some differences right away as we look at the back of the tuck box. The design here, obviously we do get a new back design for this one. Otherwise though, same artwork all the way through, just changed to that black and red as well. This particular one also has the tuck seal on it, done in black and white, kind of a nice stark contrast. And it is numbered, so I got deck number 412 here. So beautiful deck, same or similar imagery here on the inside with that radial pattern, as well as on the inner flaps here. And you do get a character imprinted on the interior here, but this particular one is the World Eater himself. You can see the face mouth there marred with teeth. So similar look to it, but a slight difference to the interior design as well. But beautiful tuck box, but let's check out the cards. First thing you may have noticed as I took these out is that these are, of course, gilded. Beautiful red, shiny gilding on these. Nice reflective red. Just a really beautiful color and a great pairing with the fully foiled backs. Now, where the first deck was made by USBCC, these were actually printed by WJPCC. So both the tuck box and the cards made by Wu Zhang. And they do a nice job with their foiling. Nice clean look to it overall. Nice reflective red on these. And a new design on these as well. So this isn't the same design that we saw on the other, whereas this one featured the raven in the cage. This is the darker side of it with that just red and black radial pattern. Beautiful look to this one. Great pairing with the foiling. Just a great color match. Looks outstanding to me. And then we get into the cards. Now, to start off with, the aces and the numbers are the same as what we looked at before. So no differences on these. You'll see those same beautiful colored backgrounds, the pips, the masks, everything the same as what we saw with the Mezzanotte version of the deck. So you still get the red for the spades, black for the hearts, and then yellow for the clubs and diamonds. But it is not an identical deck. In addition, of course, to the changes in the tuck box and the back design we saw, this particular one features an all new cast of characters as we go into the next chapter, if you will, of the journey. Let's get the jacks up here. But the next chapter of the journey through the land of sleep. So let's get these aside and check out the next set of characters. And we start off here with the Jack of Spades. This one is the shapeless chaos, the devourer of worlds. You can see those tentacles all the way around, the raven seated amongst it. Just a really menacing looking card. Kind of a sense of hopelessness as you look at this one. And then next up is the Jack of Hearts. This is representing a beautiful kind of set of lovers down here. Harmless lovers represented by the bunnies, but of course towering over them, you have this menacing demon, kind of the classic devil shape looming over them. Really cool look to the Jack of Hearts there. I like this card quite a bit. With the bunnies there, almost kind of, emphasizes that threat that some of these nightmares can pose to us. Next up is the Jack of Clubs, another one of my favorite cards. This is the Sword Bringer, so the many arms, the swords crossed all the way through. And the Sword Bringer is said to be the most skilled warrior in the land of sleep. And then finally is the Jack of Diamonds, and this is a personal one, not a particular monster, but more kind of a personification of that presence that's kind of weighing on our shoulders, weighing you down in life in some ways. You have this sort of shapeless black mass on the shoulders of this guy down here. Really cool look to it. And then we turn to the queens. We have the Queen of Spades here. A little bit of an error on the deck. I was marked as the Queen of Hearts. This is meant to be the Queen of Spades, though. And this is the captivating siren tempting you in ways that will inevitably hurt you. So you can see her there, the crazy hair and the crazy look in her eyes, and then the scattered bones of those who succumbed to her temptations. And then next up is the Queen of Hearts. The twins here representing a beautiful pair of demons, both good and evil. So you see the one with the halo, and then the classic devil horns with the forked tail and everything. So the twins there kind of representing some sort of temptation that can lead you down a path of good or evil. And then next up is the Queen of Clubs, very reminiscent of something like Athena for me. This is the goddess of valor, a ray of hope in some way in the land of sleep, or maybe just another enemy that you have. But definitely makes me think of like some of the classic Greek goddesses and things like that. And then finally, the Queen of Diamonds here. This one represents the Empress, the wise ruler with her wolf companion there at the forefront. Love that one, the blood dripping from her sword as well. And then finally, we go to the kings, and we start off with the King of Spades, and this is Mondo himself, the namesake of the deck. This is the most horrific nightmare of them all. He's here ready to devour the entire world. You can see the menacing teeth there, the gaping mouth, beautiful set of colors on this one, the chains just barely holding him back. Just a really powerful, impactful looking card. I love the shape of this one. And then the King of Hearts here. The King of Hearts represents let's see, which one am I looking at? Or the King of Hearts here represents emptiness of some sort. So you can see the black face has the broken mask. So the mask's fallen away, but the empty face still there, just sort of representing the lost soul of some sort. Love the black sword, almost like a shadow sword there at his side. And then next up, we have the King of Clubs. This is the guardian who imposes the harsh rules of the world. Another animal type of mask. The sword there, almost keeping these two rabbits apart as it kind of snaps through the chain there. But beautiful looking card. This is another really cool one. I love the yellow background with this one. And then finally, the King of Diamonds, symbolizing a locked door here and all the answers that you seek. So, can you break through the chain, break through the lock, and get to those answers? Kind of the question posed by this one. And you do have some jokers in this one, a set of 4 jokers as well for one last set of the cards. And we start off here with the Sun Empress. You can see the sun at her back, the scourge of nightmares everywhere. And so this is kind of one of the more, characters of hope that you might be able to encounter if you're lucky. Next up, we have the Wanderer, one of the few who's actually able to control their dreams. So another one that you might hope to encounter if you want to get your dreams, your nightmares into check. We have the Vampire Queen here, one of the many wanderers in the land of sleep. Vampires, another creature of the night. And finally, the Black Fury and another World Devourer here. It looks very much like Mondo, but a beautiful and just menacing looking card here. The multiple wings, the gaping mouth, just another dark and almost hopeless card here against all of the others that you might have seen. So really cool look to him overall. Love that he went with an entirely new set of characters. So not just a gilded deck with the same cards, but really doing a lot to change this one up. And nice job with the gilding and the execution as well. These will clump up a little bit more compared to the others, just usually a function of that gilding, sometimes not quite as good of handling on them, but a beautiful deck nonetheless with Mondo. And that is it. So like I said, there is a third version if you're interested, the Luna Piena deck. This one's just done on a glossy tuck. And because the cards here are the same as the ones in Mezzanotte, I didn't bother opening this one up. But there is a third if you really want to go for the complete set. And that is it. That is the look at Incubo. It's a powerful deck and one that kind of leads you to explore your own story, your own dreams, and your own nightmares. And I think just a really interesting deck. Love the artwork on this one. Love the direction. It definitely makes me think, I'd love to see Giovanni do a tarot deck at some point, because I think his art style, particularly as he does it in this one with those full one-way quartz, just really lends itself well to the tarot theme. So can only hope that that's to come someday. But anyway, that's it for now. Hope you enjoyed this look at Incubo and our darkest nightmares. That's it for me. Make sure to subscribe for more deck reviews, more unboxings. Let me know what else you want to see, and I'll see you for the next one.